Okie dokie. Oh crap. I can hear myself. The stream's open in the background. Okay. So the first thing, uh, changes, housekeeping, whatever it's called. The software, the puppeteering software for the model, it got updated 19 hours ago. So I downloaded the new model and immediately ran it. Even though last week I'd said I wasn't gonna do this exact thing, I ended up doing it anyway. And I was also looking around with the graphic settings, and I like the way the ambient occlusion looked, so I want to try it and see how I like it in the VOD because it makes the model look slightly scarier, more demonic. And the any other updates? Not really. I organized my computer a bit, so there's not as much of a mess as there was. Let me just check something before I switch scenes. Oh, also, even though I'm broadcasting using NVIDIA Broadcast for to clean up the audio. Oops, I guess I didn't need to show that. Well, it's nothing bad. Oh, the M is still behind me, so I have to make it go invisible when I switch. I'll have to fix that later. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast to clean the audio using my GPU, but I'm having the model software using the lip sync with just the raw microphone, so it should be slightly more sensitive to my voice, but it's also picking up a lot of background noise, which is fine because it's not broadcasting it. Let's see, Chrome. I don't intend, I don't expect to go for 2.5 hours a day, but I also didn't want to do nothing today. The audio looks fine. Oh yeah, I added a filter, just 1 decibel of gain, and I want to see because it was a little bit quiet last stream, so I hope this is enough. If not, then I'll slowly raise it up. Where was I? I forgot to look at the page I left off on last time. Let me do that real quick. Page 40. 39. I can already feel the burps coming and my throat making me want to cough. And I also been scratching my face a lot too, so the model's gonna do this. We're gonna scratch my face. Joy. In any case, terminal. I don't know why it's so big. Normally I have to resize it. Uh, there I go typing cat again. It's because I was typing ls. I don't remember what I was doing here. If function kung fu takes a table, if type is table, if type uh, if type of the input is not equal to table, then return nil and the string, this funny string, and then end the function. Otherwise, return table dot function or table dot bar. We don't necessarily know that bar is a function. And kung fu 3 must have been something to do with errors. In any case, oh yeah, I was working on my website, so this is deprecated. So the new website. This is a small aside, but since I opened it already, uh, it looks so bad. But I was watching a Primeagen video, and it was the one about the article about the 14 kilobyte website, so I decided to try that. And so, if you look here, when I refresh the page, it only transfers 6.8 kilobytes with caching disabled. And how it's doing that is I inlined the fav icon, the profile picture, and the pictures to the different websites, as well as the CSS, which is not what you're is what most people say not to do. But because of that, the website loads pretty fast. 61 milliseconds, 35 milliseconds, 28 milliseconds, 37. This is with caching disabled. Before I did this, it was taking around 400 milliseconds, which, I mean, is still not something I could even notice without measuring with the computer, but I just thought it was an interesting thing to try, and so I tried it. But yeah, I'll work more on this when I get to the HTML book. In any case, uh, oh yeah, I moved everything to the data folder. I think it's in general. No, I don't remember. Where did I put it? Lua playlist. Book 3. I'll just put a copy of it on the desktop so I don't have to go looking for it next time. 39. Let me make sure chat is open just in case I need a ban on spam bot. I don't know why this app still shows Twitch, TikTok. I don't even have a TikTok. Um, I think that's everything. Okay. Checking argument types. Some functions only work on certain types of argument. This is the one of the primary reasons to use a statically typed language, because you not just can, you have to adhere to whatever type you declare the variable is. Or it doesn't have to be a variable, it could be a function argument and a function return value, or even a struct or a class. But yeah, so we have a function foo takes an argument named tab and it returns tab.bar, so it's assuming it's a table with a field called bar. So this has several implications. Print kung fu 20 prints nil, take your useless number somewhere else. If it's kung fu 20, then why would it be good? Kung fu 20. Print good, else print bad, end prints bad. Oh, that's a weird. So this is using this up here, but this is an alternative to this. It's another way of checking. So if this is true, which this is not going to be true because it's going to return nil, then it's going to be false. And so it's going to print bad, and it prints bad. Foo equals kung fu 20 or bar. So, I mean, I already. Foo equals kung fu 20 or bar, and it sets foo to bar. And why does it do that? Because this returns nil, that evaluates the false, and bar is not one or, I'm sorry, it's not nil or false. So it automatically it's truthy. not automatically, but it is truthy, and so the OR will evaluate to this side and return bar to the foo assignment operator. I forgot to look at my audio to see if it got any louder. Now we can call the function with whatever parameter we want, and it won't crash the program. If we actually want to abort execution on error, we can still do result assert. So you can still use assert to crash the program if you already handled the error. So what if we have a function that does something with an instance of a specific class? Have we learned object-oriented in Lua yet? I mean, in this book? This is difficult because classes and objects are usually tables. So the type function will return table. So that's something, I love wasting time in professional. That's something I realized the other day, is that similar to how the book says, or this book, other books do, tab.bar or table.bar, these are all tables. So if I do Lua, oh, sorry, if I do type, let's say coroutine, it's going to return table. The same thing for debug and string and even OS. So these are tables, but these dot and then verb are functions in the table. So it's similar to um, if you had a tab, a table equals something like uh, what could I well, that's a long. Okay, never mind. I don't want to type all that. But it's similar to have if you had multiple functions as different values in the table. So if I do type IO dot close, it's a function. Or string dot gsub is a function. So these are tables, or as the book said, classes and objects are usually tables. So yes, that's pretty cool. Local class equals data equals important. Local meta. Yeah, we have not learned how to make meta tables in this book, I don't believe. 48. I'm not even on 40. I'm still up here. Actually, I'm not even on that. The book, this page is not the page of the book table of contents. See, I'm only on 33. Well, just read it and pretend. I mean, I don't really know how it works, so. Function class dot new. So an identifier named new, part of the class table, is a function. The function returns set meta table with the argument being an empty table and meta. Hold on, I need to drink some water. What I don't understand about this is where is it getting? I mean, the table's hard coded in. Okay, that makes sense. But set or but this one meta, is that a flag? Let's see, it's in the table, set meta table, I think. Oh, Well, it takes two tables as arguments. So where is meta defined? I don't understand classes. This is just a very basic implementation of an object class in Lua. Object equals class.new, fake equals empty string. Print type object, print type fake, prints table twice. Class.new. Oh, meta is defined. I'm just blind. The audio. I hope it doesn't do that often. Solution. Compare the meta tables. Continuation from the previous code snippet. Class is instance takes an argument, returns get meta table is equal to meta. So this will be true if it is a meta table and false if it is not. And fake returns false because fake is just an empty table, not a meta table. Class is a table but not a meta table, and a string is a string because it's a string, not a table. Nil also returns false, doesn't crash either. Why would it crash? Okay, closures. So this actually came up the other day. Oh, wait, I don't think I have it installed on this user. No, on the other user on this computer, my other account, I have new shell installed, and I did not understand what a closure is. So new shell has, what is it? Each this. So this is the alternative to the Windows version of 4%in um, list do. So you use the each and a closure, but I don't know what a closure is. And because of that, uh, I wasn't sure if I was going to use another programming language to learn about closures or just rely on Lua resources solely. But before I read, from what I understand, a closure is a function that can access, mm, I want to say variables, but I guess it can access objects. No, object's not the right word. Parameter? No, it can access members outside of its own scope. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. A closure. Local table equals 1, 2, 3. Function closure with no arguments. For key value in I pairs, it takes the table as an argument, so it's going to iterate through the table and print each key. I can still see you. What? Now, I don't, from what I remember, this isn't a closure because it's not modifying the table. This is just a function that's taking the table as an argument. Let me see if I could find a simple definition of a closure. Technique for implementing a lexically scoped name binding. What does a robot say? Closure is a powerful feature in some programming languages that allows a function to remember and access variables. So I guess variables is there a word from its surrounding and closing scope, even after that scope has finished executing. Oh, does this count as accessing though? Yes, it does because it's not being sent as an argument. I didn't even realize. Well, it counts as reading. I don't know if I would count reading. I mean, I guess reading is accessing. I was expecting writing though. Okay, print table. No, nil's out of scope because it's in its own do and end block closure. So you can call the function again. I can still see you. I can still see you. This function can still see tab. That's pretty cool. What I didn't realize is after this ends, this is still in memory. It makes sense because the function that is defined in the program somewhere will still remain in memory, so why wouldn't a do block? I guess I just assumed once it's finished executing, the garbage collector automatically knows to kill it. Typical usage examples. New adder, it takes a number. Function return, function input. This is what next does. It returns a function. So when you call iPairs, it's either iPairs or pairs, it actually calls the next. A thing I like when you do uh, whoops, for the key value in what was it? Next. So this is going to give me an error. Do print one and then, but this is what I found earlier today. If I put a comma right here, right after next, it works. I don't know why. None of the books thus far have talked about this comma, and it's not exclusive to next. If uh, I can distract or go off topic a little bit more. If I do type, what is it? Oh, okay. So let's do a tab again, and then we do a tab. No. Type next a tab. But if I do this, yeah, that's what I don't understand. So with a comma, with parentheses. Okay, but the same thing is true for pairs, I believe. Pairs function. If you take away that and use parentheses. Oh, let me. It looks the same, but I don't think it's the same. If I do a tab again, okay. So as you can see, it ends in 130 and 5E0. But if I get rid of the parentheses and use a comma, it's no longer ending in 130, it's ending in 610. So these are different different instances, at least, or some way different. Also this nil, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, so I don't know the difference between the syntax of a comma. 'Cause- oh wait, I just noticed that these are the same. I see what's happening now. It's doing this when you just put 1, 2, or 1 comma 2. Okay, let's forget the parentheses. Okay, I see now. Uh, what happens if I put it in parentheses? No, that doesn't work. Interesting. Oh, it didn't go through the keys. Oh, I put 1. Never- It does go through the keys. Yeah, that's really strange syntax. A typical usage. Function new adder. It takes a number, or an argument named, a parameter named number. Return function input. Wait a minute. Where did you get input? Return input plus number. Oh, okay. it's returning a function, and the function is being defined in the return statement. And that function returns input plus number. So whatever you put in the first function, uh, but where's input being? I guess. I would need more time with this one. Add 3 equals new adder 3. So does that mean this number is a no? It's just a number, but it's returning a function that adds the number to whatever you add 3 equals new adder 3. This returns a function that adds. Okay, okay. So it's returning a function that adds 3 or whatever you put in the first function to whatever you define, or not define. Okay, it creates an identifier such as add 3, whereas the first function returns a function and it'll be assigned to that identifier. That identifier becomes a function, and thus you can pass arguments to it, and that is what gets put into here. I didn't explain it well, but I do understand it. It's returning a function. It's like what it'll make a lot more sense when I get to the Haskell book. More advanced usage examples. I'm not gonna read that. Garbage collector and weak tables. I was really confused about this in the last book. 1. Collect garbage. Gcruel. GQ. Oh, garbage collection rule. Garbage collection data. Collect garbage using garbage collection rules. Set meta table. Takes a table. Mode. Weak mode. Set weak mode of a table to weak mode. Whatever that means. Parameter. Weak mode. And why are these two together? Action to garbage collector. Stop collecting, restart. I don't need to read this. I read this already in the reference manual. Weak tables one, I don't understand. It's for the set meta table function. Is it? Set meta table takes. Oh, well, this double underscore mode is a meta method. So what was it called? Mode. Yeah, it's a meta method, but I don't see it. I'm gonna scroll down a bit and see if it explains it. If not, yeah, okay, no, it doesn't explain it. So I have to drink water again. I don't think I need to read the entire thing. I read the first two paragraphs. A weak table is a table whose elements are weak references. A weak reference is ignored by the garbage collector. In other words, if the only reference to an object are weak, the garbage collector will collect that object. A weak reference is ignored by the garbage collector? If the only reference to an object are weak references, then the garbage collector will collect that object. How is that ignoring it? A weak table can have weak keys, weak values, or both. A table with weak values allows the collection of its values but prevents the collection of its keys. A table with both allow the collection of both in any case. If either the key or the value is collected, the whole pair is removed from the table. The weakness of a table is controlled by the mode field of its I'm sorry, the mode meta method field of its meta table. This meta value, if present, must be one of the following strings: K for the table with weak keys, and V for a table with weak values, or KV for a table with both. Yeah, I still don't really understand. A table with weak keys and strong values is also called an ephemeron table. In an ephemeron table, a value is considered reachable only if its key is reachable. In particular, if the only reference to a key comes through its value, the pair is removed. Oh, if the only reference to the key comes through. So basically, I'm guessing it's like if you declare a value and instantiate it, but never actually use it in the program, or if you're finished with it in the program. Like if you have a do end block, but there's no function inside, so it's just assigned and then never used, and nothing has access to its scope. That's what I'm guessing. A table with weak keys and strong values is also called, I already read that. Any change in the weakness of a table may take effect only at the next collect cycle. In particular, if you change the weakness to a stronger mode, Lua may still collect some items from that table before the change takes effect. Now you're racing against the garbage collector. Only objects that have explicit construction are removed from weak tables. Values such as numbers and light C functions are not subject to garbage collection and therefore are not removed from weak tables unless their associated values are collected. Although strings are subject to garbage collection, they do not have an explicit construction and their equality is by value. They behave more like values than like objects. Therefore, they are not removed from weak tables. Resurrected objects. What in the world? That is, objects being finalized and objects accessible only through objects being finalized have a special behavior in the weak tables. They are removed from the weak they sorry. They are removed from weak values before running their finalizers. I don't know what this means, but are removed from weak keys only in the collection after running their finalizers. When such objects are actually freed, this behavior allows the finalizer to access properties associated with objects through a weak table. If a weak table is among the resurrected objects in the collection cycle, it may not be properly cleared until the next cycle. I have no idea how long I have to use Lua before I understand this. I've watched at least 3 to 4 tutorials on this language that are over an hour long, explaining as much as they could in a single video, and none of them ever mentioned this, any of this, the weak tables. One of them did mention meta methods, but yeah. And as you know, the books I've been reading, this is the first time I really. Well, no, I think the first book did mention something about meta methods, but I don't know if it went over weakness specifically. But I didn't understand a single word of that paragraph, so I don't see the point in reading this. Creates 4 tables. Main table is equal to T1 and T2. Regular table with strong references to T1 and T2. The weak table, set meta table to T1 through T4. Mode equals values with weak references. Table with weak references. So if you change the values of all four tables to nil, no more strong references to T3 and T4, print main table. Wait. Oh, no. Main table. So the length of main table and the length of weak table. What does that mean? Length of weak? How, what, why is it four? Destroy T3 and T4 and delete weak links to them. 2 and 2. Oh, wait. I think it's 4 because weak table has 4 arguments, and therefore it's 4 different values. I think. Either way, I don't understand. Introducing the Lua C API. I don't know if I should read this because I have not refreshed my C, and even then I've never gone past beginner level with C. Lua state pointer equals Lua open, creates a new VM state, Lua 5.0, Lua state. Yeah, I don't know if I wanted to. I'm still so conflicted on this. So I wanted to read a C book specifically so I could learn this part. But the problem is I have no intention of using C to build anything. I mean, I don't even think I'm going to use Lua to build anything. I just wanted to learn the concepts. And so it seems like a huge waste to put that effort to read a C book to try to understand everything about, not everything, but just try to understand enough to implement the C API, to use the C API. But if I'm not even building a C project, I don't think I'm going to do it. Maybe I'm still on the fence with using Go. I don't know if the Go. I mean, I could just look it up real quick. I should have saw that coming. Lua Virtual Machine in Go. There. Okay. The support of Lua 5.2 VM and Pure Go to Pure Go rather. It is compatible binary files dumped by Lua C. Oh, that's cool. From the Lua reference implementation. The motivation is to enable simple scripting for Go applications. But is there a documentation on? I don't know. Maybe this one? This uses a Go API. Last time this was updated was last year. I'm looking to see if there's documentation, and what I want to know is if the documentation uses the C API or if it implements its own. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty obvious. If I'm looking for a reason to not read the paragraph, I should just not read the paragraph, or not comprehend. I'll still skim it, but I'm not going to comprehend it. An int Lua, the dot file, pointer, constant pointer. Run the Lua script when the given file name using a specific Lua state, and Lua states are. This actually doesn't look so bad. Open libs loads all the standard libraries. Maybe I will. I don't know. I need to watch more Lua videos and read more Lua articles. Uh, oh, go back, please. Uh, D closures. Use Lua to allocate memory. This type of memory allocation function used by Lua states the allocator function must provide a function similar to realloc, but not exactly the same. The arguments are UD, an opaque pointer passed to Lua's new state. What section is Lua new state in? Functions and types in 4.2. Handling yields, and internally Lua uses C long jump if facility yields a coroutine. Therefore, if C function foo calls an API function, this API yields directly or indirectly by calling it. Lua cannot return to foo anymore because the long jump removes its frame from the C stack. This is very beyond the scope of this section of the book. Well, let's just read it. So we have Lua state, and it is a pointer of type L. No. C is type then identifier. So it's a pointer named L and a type of Lua state. Is that a function? I don't know. Maybe this is Lua code, not no, because there's no pointer. Is there? It shouldn't work. Yeah, there's no pointer. So this is C. I guess it's a good time to mention I don't know how to use APIs. So you can create a new virtual machine state or open a new VM. That's just how you do it in the 5.0. This is how you do it in the newer versions. The difference is it's called a new state function rather than an open function. What does the big L stand for? Lua L dot file. It takes a Lua state, constant, character, and file name. So this will run a Lua script. Why is it called dot file? Oh, dot do file rather. Run a Lua script with a given load all the standard library. Oh, run a script with a given file name using a specified Lua state. So Lua states are not defined right here, but in the reference. This one can open the standard library, and this one needs to close the VM and release any resources inside. And then what is this? Lua call. Calls a Lua value at index nargs plus 1. Remarks. Lua as well. Lua as well provides a proper C API to its virtual machine. In contrary to VM itself, C API interface is stack-based, so most of the functions intended to be used with data is either, shouldn't that be R? So most of the data, so I said data, didn't, most of the functions intended to be used with data is either adding some stuff on top of the virtual stack or removing from it. Also, all the API calls must be used carefully within stack and its limitations. In general, anything available on Lua language can be done using its C API. Also, there is some additional functionality maybe, like direct access to internal registry, change behavior of standard memory allocator or garbage collector. You can compile provided Lua C API examples by executing the following in your terminal. GCC will take an example C program with the L Lua. I don't know what the L stands for still. LDL and LM, no idea. Creating a virtual machine. So this is C code. Include a C header file, C header file named lua.h, a header file named luaxlib.h, lualib.h, and main void. So int main void. So int type returns int, and it takes void as an argument, aka nothing. Start by creating a new virtual machine state, Lua state. So it did it, but it didn't do it with the specified Lua state. Oh, I was thinking this is modal, like different modes, similar to how we open files with like append, read, write. But no, I think specified Lua state just means the one you declared when you created the VM. Okay, so start by creating a new VM state. So you create a new VM state, load Lua standard libraries. So I don't understand why. No, I do understand why this isn't part of this because sometimes you don't need all the standard library. For older versions of Lua, use Lua Open instead. Load the standard library, base, IO, math, string. What is this L? Is it a struct? Is it I don't know what it is. Do stuff with the Lua VM. Well, the L is the new state. Uh, do stuff with the Lua VM. In this case, just load and execute a file. Lua L do file, some input, dot Lua, done, close it. I don't even have, oh, I do have GCC installed on the laptop, I think, but not on my Windows machine. I don't have any compiler. Oh, I do have one compiler installed. Do I have Go? I do have Go installed, but that's not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of RTC. Nope. W window. Yeah, I thought it was called RTC. Yeah, it is. Oh, it's on the other account. Lua RT. Yeah, I installed it as a local user, not at the system level, so this account doesn't have access to it. It is a Windows compiler for Lua, so you can make Windows binaries. I might do that. Not right now, though. So it's doing functions from the Lua standard library and return with exit success, calling Lua functions. So what is the difference? This is creating a Lua virtual machine, calling, so the same three. I don't need to read the C code. In the above example, we're doing these things, creating and setting up a Lua VM as shown in the first example, getting and pushing a Lua function from the global Lua table onto the virtual stack, pushing string hello C API as an input argument onto the virtual stack. Actually, I just realized doing C on Windows is going to be a little bit of a pain because I don't want to have to download, I can't use the same compiler on both operating systems. Yeah, so maybe I will do, if I decide to do it, maybe it'll be Go. Or Ruby. I've been, watched a Lex Friedman podcast with DHH recently. I'm not finished with it. I only watched the first hour and 40 minutes. I'm gonna watch another 2 hours tomorrow. But that guy, DHH, he really loves Ruby, and he got me curious to watch lectures about it. And the master of wasting time. Getting and pushing a Lua function from a global Lua table onto the virtual stack, pushing the string via a hello C API as an input argument to the virtual stack. Where did that must have been down here somewhere? Yeah, right here. Oh, I thought it was going to be using printf. Instructing virtual machine to call a function with one argument which is already on the stack, closing and cleaning up. Bear in mind that Lua call, where was I? Bear in mind that the Lua call function pops the function and its arguments from the stack, leaving only the result. Also, it would be safer using Lua protected call instead. Embedded Lua interpreter with custom API and Lua customizations. Demonstrate how to embed a Lua interpreter in C code, expose a C-defined function to a Lua script, evaluate a Lua script, call a C-defined function from Lua, and call a Lua-defined function from C. What do you give me, homework? In this example, we want the mood to be set by a Lua script. Here is mood.lua. Major mood, major minor build, hostgit version print. The host version is major minor build. The Lua interpreter version is version. Define a function for a host to call. Okay, I'm not doing this because I don't have a C compiler on my Windows machine, and I don't even feel like doing this example because I don't know if I'm gonna, as I said before. Table manipulation. This is more C API stuff. Okay, we got out of that. Iterators, a generic for loop. Iterators, I feel like this should have been earlier. Iterators utilize a form of the for loop known as a generic for loop. The generic form of the for loop uses three parameters, an iterator function that gets called when the next value is needed. It receives both the invariant state and control variable as parameters. Wait a minute. I just realized something. If this next and then 2, 3, is it even necessary to write next? Or I will explain my thinking. My thinking is if this syntax is just two different values, like as if you had returned two different values, is next even operating on the table? And if so, can it be omitted? I mean, if not, rather, can it be omitted from the for loop? So for KV in, so I was writing next, comma, table, prints, hey, in. Uh, so can I omit next? No, I cannot. What happens if I do I pairs, comma, is an infinite loop? If I do pairs, comma, I think this is called function application then. It's applying the first, so we'll say it's quote unquote two arguments. The first one being the iterator, the second one being a table. And it seems like it's applying this function to the table if next works like this. It's so weird. I don't know if I'll ever understand. The generic form of the for loop uses three parameters. An iterator function that gets called when the next value is needed. It receives both the invariant state and control variable as parameter. Returning nil signals termination. The invariant state. So it receives both the invariant state and the control variable. The invariant state is a value that doesn't change during iteration. It is typically the subject of the iterator, such as a table, string, or user data. And the control variable represents the initial value for iteration. We can write a for loop to iterate all key value pairs in our tables using the next function. Local t is equal to a equals 1, b equals 2, c equals 3, etc. Next is an iterator function. T is the invariant state, or as some people like to call it, the argument. Hold on. I see the microphone. Let me listen. T is the invariant state. I see. I see what's happening. My air conditioner is on, and NVIDIA Broadcast is picking it up as in white noise. So whenever I speak, it can still hear the air conditioner, and it's leaving the microphone gate, I guess it's called, open. I don't. Uh, I mean, I guess I could speak louder. Let me. I'll try to speak louder, but first let me remove that 1 decibel gain. Okay. No, it's still very loud. Even I just don't understand. Some days, I usually don't change the audio settings, and some days it just is really loud, and some days it's not. Where was I? T is the invariant state. Nil is the control variable. What? Represents a value, an initial value for iteration. Nil is the control variable. Calling next with a nil gets the first key. Really? Wait, this is taking 3 arguments? 3 parameters. Uh, Let me just do this, Lua. Get rid of local. Oh, for K, V, in neck, A tab, no, do. I almost typed echo. I almost typed echo again. Key, value, and where's E? E's right there. Why is it out of order? Why is it out of order? What if I just print the key? If I delete nil, will still be out of order? That's unexpected. Why is it out of order? Okay, so for key value in next t nil do. The key is the new value for the control variable key. So the key will go here and it prints key value. Lua calls next t key. Key. Interesting. So the reason it's not working, I'm guessing, is because it's comparing E and D. But that still doesn't. There's no situation that inherently makes sense to me why E should come before D. Let's rewrite a tab a different way. D or oh wait, I need to turn these into characters. Did you not like? Because it's expected near the equal sign. What is expected near the equal sign? Okay, let's try this way. What if I put 3? No, it doesn't like 3. Can I put 2 here? No. Ah, okay, that's a problem. Let's see if I do. Give me a tab, the original one. And let's do next a tab, let's say 3 or C. So it's going to give me D. I'm expecting it to return D equals 4. No, it gave me E5. But if I give it a, oh, it gave me what in the world? Why is it giving me E? This one is puzzling. I wish they did the thing. Like, where is it? The thing where they show the expected output. Okay. So the 4 key value in next t. Now do the following. Key is the new value for the control variable. So it prints key value. Lua calls next t on with the key. Calling next with a nil gets the first key. No, it did not. Let's try something simpler. Uh, whoops. Okay, that was correct. But what about 1? That's also correct. What about 3? No. 0? Oh, nil should be the first value. So that works, but why did it not work with this function? Or this one? E, A, D4, E. No. That's strange. That's very strange. It works with numbers. Maybe that's the difference. It just works with numbers. Oh, uh, let's try. Something with longer than 5. 19. Oh, not 19. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 84 and 6. Okay. So it likes numbers. It does not like this. The standard iterator. The standard library provides two iterator functions that can be used with a for. Yeah, I don't understand it. Standard library provides two iterator functions that can be used with a for loop to traverse key value pairs within tables. To iterate over a sequence table, we can use the library function iPairs for index value in iPairs. So let's try that. Did I paste it? Yeah. So if I do for IV, what is it? Make it slightly more transparent. iPairs. E do until V and I think I'm supposed to use parentheses. It didn't print anything. What is T? What? Those are parentheses. Those are braces? What about this? No. Why is it not working? Yeah, that one worked. But it's also out of order again. So why did iPairs not work? Oh, I'm stupid. iPairs, no, that doesn't. Yeah, iPairs doesn't like key value pairs. It likes indexes. And these are not indexes, these are key value pairs. So it'll work with the regular table I use. Or I'll just type in the one they used, which is this. Yeah, that was correct. Still bothers me that this one was out of order for no apparent reason, and the other one, when using next, was also out of order. To iterate over all keys and values in any table, we can use the library function pairs. To iterate over all key value pairs, order not specified. Did it say anything about order before? No. Okay, well, just gonna try it again. I guess it's gonna say key value in pairs. T do print. I'm assuming that's what it says. in pairs. The same do print key value. So let's see. This one started with D. This one started with E. This one started with second for C. C is in the same place. A. So the order is not. How do I specify the order? Call it with T as an argument and returns the first three results from the call. Otherwise, return three values. The next function, the table T and nil. Iterate over all. It doesn't say anything about selecting order. Both pairs and I-pairs represent stateless iterators. A stateless iterator uses only the generic for loops control variable and invariant state to compute the iteration value. So if it only uses the generic for loops control variable, that means it's using the next function. And so whatever is causing next function to make this out of order is causing pairs to also make it out of order. Is there a way to do it in order? Or do I have to sort it first? But it was sorted first, so I don't know. Pairs iterator. We can implement the stateless. Oh, see? Return next. So it is using next. We can implement this. Where was I? Yeah, we can implement the stateless pairs iterator using the next function. Generator function, which initializes the generic for loop. Next is the iterator function to use the invariant states, etc. I'm not going to type this. We can implement stateless. What's I plus 1? This is for I pairs though. We can create a new stateless iterator by fulfilling the contract of the generic for loop function which performs the actual iteration. Local function chars iter. Okay, we'll try this one. Specifically want to try it on T. Actually, instead of typing it, uh, what is it called? Varsator.lua. The air conditioner just turned on, so the mic is gonna act a little funny again. Sorted by the K value, maybe. You mean the next function? The one I was lost on? Uh, this is lined up with the if. There are no tabs in this. Okay, so function chars iter takes an s and an I. If I is less than the length of the string, or the length of the s rather, it could be a table, then I equals I plus 1. Return I and s sub, it's a, I forgot what it's called. Whoops. Evil dot sub. No, it's not. Okay, what is dot sub? String dot sub. So it is a string. Oh, it's a character iterator, so of course it's a string. Generator function which initializes local function char s. Return char iter. Okay, we'll try it. What is it called? Chars iter. And then that one, this key. Or, well, no, those aren't even characters. Those are just symbols, I guess. If I do type t dot a, no. How would I even identify it? Oh, I actually don't know. I don't know how to type the key if I have the value. I guess I could write a function. No, no, that wouldn't work either. Mm, okay, never mind. This, well, that was a bust. Well, either way, this isn't a character array or a list of characters, so this character iterator wouldn't solve my problem. Unless, use like, oh, there was more to it. Use like pairs and I pairs for I, C in chars, A, B, C, D, E. Do, I'm a little confused. Where's D? I see A, B, C, F, E, and there's no F here. There's a D. I'm number iterator. I need another drink of water. I'm getting so lost in iterators. I don't see the reason in reading this one because I'm not going to be doing this. Print all primes in an endless loop for p in primes to. What is this thing? This thing is a monstrosity. Stateful iterators. Stateful iterators carry some additional information about the current state of the iterator. The addition state can be packed into a generic for loop's invariant state. Function char iterator takes t and I, local I, so if it's less than length, okay. Local function chars s, so it takes a string, the iterator's state. Local t is equal to s is equal to s, so the argument becomes. I hate when the book does this. This is what I was complaining about last time. They use the same name. What is this? It returned the k value even when it wasn't specified. I'm not sure. I was going too fast. I'm sorry. I don't know which part you're talking about. And the k value when not specified. It says the order is not specified, but I do see. Uh, wait, I was in the character. This one. For I and C, print I and C. No, I think that's the K. If this is the one you were talking about, well, it would be I. So print I for I. But if that's not the one you're talking about, then I'm not quite sure. Oh, wait. Using tables. Function chars. The iterator state for T. Oh yeah, I was complaining that the parameter and the argument have the same name. And I wish it didn't do that because it makes it more confusing for me to figure out what's happening. Length equals to the length of string cached length. Return char iter t0 end for I don't know why I'm reading this. I'm not going to be using this. Using closures. Is this another iterator? Please stop. Using coroutines. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna. Oh no, not meta tables. Okay. Uh, Metatables. Local metatable equals get metatable t. Retrieve associated metatable for t. Local t is equal to, what is this syntax? Set metatable t, metatable, set metatable, etc. So t is referring to a Lua table. This is different syntax than they use in the earlier parts of the book. I'm thinking it means, I think it's supposed to be like this, where the reference uses these square brackets to mean an optional. So it's saying local is optional. That's what I'm guessing. Okay, remarks. There are some meta methods not mentioned here. For the full list, see the corresponding entry in the reference manual. Yes, this is the part I skipped over before because I didn't plan on using any meta methods for a while. I'm still starting with the basics. These are all things I'll have to come back to once I get more experience with the basic Lua. Creation and usage of metatables. A metatable defines a set of operations which alter the behavior of a Lua object or a table. A metatable is just an ordinary table which is used in a special way. So this is what I was talking about in 3 point. I don't feel like opening it. It was a lecture, or a lecture. It was another. It was from book two. I got confused on, and went to go read more about metatables. So a local meta equals an empty table. Create a table to use as a metatable. A metatable can change the behavior of many things. Here we modify the toString operation. This field, this fields, these fields should be a function with one argument. It gets called with the respective object and should return a string. So basically you have to implement, or you can choose to implement a toString function for your quote-unquote object or tables. Function object table. Return string dot format, and then you format the string however you want with object.x, object.y. What? How can you know this before this? Create an object. Local point. The point is a meta. Set the meta table. Hold on, let me reread this. Meta.toString equals function. Oh, I forgot they made the identifier meta. That's why I was looking like, where did they get this word? So meta.toString. So for the empty table, they're gonna make a toString function and attach it to this identifier meta, and that's what's being used. So when you use set meta table on a table, it takes the meta methods, which these double underscore functions are meta methods from the reference manual. Meta methods, not this one. These. So you define it, and then you attach it to whichever table you want. It can be an empty table. It doesn't have to have data. You give it an identifier, and that's what gets passed as the second argument for the set metatable method. And this special function will take meta methods from table 2 or argument 2 and apply them to argument 1. That's my understanding. So you have a local point. It's just a table that has an x and y. Can you really just hard code x and y like that though? It's so, I mean, you can, but should you? Since print calls toString, we can use it directly. Print point. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even realize that. Well, it makes sense because if you try to print true, like, what else would it be doing besides true.toString if such a thing existed? I don't think it does. Is there? No, there's no Boolean. One of these. No Boolean table. Like coroutine debug, OS package, etc. Using tables as meta methods. Using a table as a meta method. What is this sorcery? Some meta methods don't have to be functions. To most two most important example. The most important example for this is the underscore underscore index meta method. Is it defined here? Index. The indexing access operation key or table key. This event happens when a table is not a table or when key is not present in the table. The meta value is looked up in the meta table of table. Truly, the easiest thing to understand the world. Naturally, yeah, yeah. I already read that. It can also be a table, which is then used as lookup. This is quite commonly used in the creation of classes in Lua. Here, a table, often the meta table itself, is used to hold all operation methods. Oh, I don't blame you. This is my third book, and I'm still confused. I've watched like so much about this. Why did the chat app made a noise twice? Personally, I think uh, this was the first book I read. I think this one was a lot easier. The one on the wiki book. I would start with that. 'Cause this one is based off of RIP tutorials, but they don't. It's not like it's people here that compile the information themselves. They take the information from posts on Stack Overflow, which is mentioned at the top here. So it's an unofficial free ebook with content extracted from Stack Overflow, which is why there's so many typos. So this one's not like I don't think this one's a good start. Some meta tables or meta methods, etc. Where was I? It is quite commonly used in the creation of classes in Lua. Here, a table, often the meta table itself, is used to hold all the operations and methods of the class. So this is the example I saw the most in the lectures I was watching, and I did not like it, and it does not make sense to me. So this is local meta. You're creating an empty table identified as meta. Set the underscore underscore index method to the meta table. Note that this can't be done in the constructor. I'm guessing, I don't know what that means. So we're setting the index is equal to itself. Oh no, this is not the example I was thinking of. This one's even more confusing. Function, create new name, and it takes a name. Local self is equal to, they did it again. They use a parameter that's the same as the argument. It's just so confusing. Set meta table, self meta. Huh. Hmm. Then return self. I don't understand. I feel like this should be. No, I mean, I understand what the basic premise is that they're using meta as uh, the scaffolding, I guess, the design, the blueprint to apply its meta methods to self. Oh, that's it, self. So this is a function that. So this is not a. I don't know how to explain it. This is something you will use when you make a new table. This is not something. This is not a table itself. So this is supposed to be like a class, I'm guessing. Either way, I don't think I'll be using this anytime soon, so I'm not that worried about it. Define a print function which is stored in the meta table. Function meta. So you should have put this right under this instead of jumping around. Meta.print self. Print self.name. Alright. That begs the question. So this is why this is another reason I'm confused. Meta.print is the name of the function and it takes the argument self. Why is that why is it why is this one meta table underscore index? Why isn't this self? By this they're supposed to be, so this is going to be a function, this one is going to be a function of the meta table. But you can use self here. This is also using itself, but it's not calling self, it's calling meta. And I just don't understand the difference, the nuance. I just leaves me lost. Local object equals create new hello from object print. I would never. I don't think I'll ever understand that. Objects in Lua are garbage collected. Sometimes you need to free some resources, wait to print a message, or do something else when an object is destroyed slash collected. For this, you can use the garbage collection meta method, which gets called when the object with the object as argument. Is that proper grammar? With the object as argument when the object is destroyed. In other words, when a table is about to be garbage collected, it calls this method. So you have to define it. I guess it's so you can gracefully be garbage collected. Like if you want to do some other thing, like print out the oh well yeah, like it said, like if you want to print out a message when you're being destroyed, then you add that to this meta method. You could see this meta method as a sort of destructor, whatever that means. This example shows the garbage collection meta method in action. When the inner table assigned to T gets garbage collected, it prints a message. Hold on, I really have to drink water. My model does not like me putting a water bottle in front of the camera. Okay. When the inner table assigned to T gets garbage collected, it prints a message prior to being collected or destroyed. Likewise, the outer table when reaching likewise for the outer table when reaching the end of the script. So we have local meta equals a table with the so now okay, so meta table here is being created and the function is being defined while it's being created. I think that's what they meant a little bit ago. Where do they say it? Right here. This can't be done in the constructor. So I think this is what's called a constructor, is when you're identifying it and creating a function. I'm guessing. I'm not certain. Function self. Print destroying self dot dot self appending self dot name end. And then we have local t set meta method, this new table with the name cuter and meta method. I might run this. Oh, I just realized. I don't, yeah, I don't really. I'm sure it made perfect sense when they wrote it. I hope so. The documentation, even the official documentation does this sometimes, like this one. Oh my god, this one bothered me so much last time. It was file.io, file.io.open, I think. Or was it? right here. When you're looking for the information for IO.output and it just hits you with the, it's similar to IO input. Like you could have wrote, like I don't, but then IO input has these modes when you're opening it. Like you don't need a read mode when you're closing, when you're doing an output. I just, oh no, it's right here. Sorry. I just feel like it could be a little bit more verbose. IO read is the equivalent to this in any case. Uh, I don't know. Well, I guess it might be garbage collected when it's when the program is killed. So maybe. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. Okay. Let me put this in a text file. And I was using micro, but lately happens every time I read my own code docs. I I'm not good at documentation either. Every time I paste in micro, oh, never mind. It doesn't look so bad. I can fix it. Local T. I don't know when it's going to run the garbage collector. I assume when I close the function or close the program. Uh, PC sample. Mhm. Okay. Lua require PC sample. Was it? Oh my god, I forgot what I wrote. Sample, GC sample. What doesn't it like? Oh, a closing brace. Okay. Now, how do I? Let's see if it just happens when I close. Oh, yeah. So it works if I just close the interpreter and it immediately, it's garbage collected and then it prints the, hold on. Now that we know it works, I can put your name is outer dot new line character. And then if we open Lua and then we require it, and then we close Lua. Oh, it didn't do, why didn't it do outer? I guess it doesn't like that I tried to be clever. Micro GC. That time it didn't do either of them. What's up with that? Okay, let's try this. Lua. Require GC sample. Close Lua. And now it's not. It did it the first time and now it won't do it anymore. What does it want? Maybe it just needs time. Okay, let's try now. Nope. Oh, well, that works. Then since that works on command, let me try the new line real quick just to see. I'm the master of wasting time. Oh yeah, it worked. It printed a new line. So this one makes more sense than that block of iterator. Was I expecting a colon? Yeah. Okay, I might use this example in my notes. More meta methods. There are many more meta methods. Some of them are arithmetic, addition, subtraction, multiplication. There are bitwise operations and or exclusive or and shift. If you have an exclusive or, why didn't you put it in the regular language? Comparison and also basic type operations like is equal to and equality and length. Oh, let's build a class, please know, which supports many of these operations. A call for rational arithmetic. While this is very basic, it shows the idea. Very basic, they say. Alright, I'll skim over it. So the meta method or the meta table includes the method toString, add, equality. This is going to come up a lot when I get to the Haskell book. So just three. So toString, when you call print, it'll automatically call toString. And then we have add, num and den. What is num and den supposed to mean? A new rational. Numerator and denominator. Okay. Um, addition of two rationals. So self dot numerator times what is RHS? What in the world is that? Where did you get RHS? Hold on. I need to. I'm blind. Let's do Notepad and find RHS. It's defined as an argument. I really am blind. It's right here. Okay, so self numerator plus RHS dot denominator plus RHS dot numerator times self dot denominator, I guess. It's adding two fractions together. Oh, I'm sorry, rationals. Wait, are they fractions? Yes. A 1 over something and a something over 1. Changing position. The camera might go a little crazy. Probably won't do that one. And equality. An equality function is self and RHS, whatever that is. Return self numerator is equal to RHS dot numerator and self dot denominator is equal to. This should be this should be what it does by default. You shouldn't have to define something like this. A function for the creation of new rationals. New rationals. R3 equals new rational 1 and 2. This is calling, when you print, it calls this toString function. So you should get 1 over 2, it says. And it's going to return num and denominator. It returns 2. What? Hmm. I guess. Oh, I'm not in Lua. I'm guessing, and I don't really want to paste it to test because this is very confusing to me. But I'm guessing when it returns two numbers, it's the same thing as printing two numbers like 55 and 100. And so, well, I don't know why it shows a 1 over 2. I was expecting a string formatted like this, like a dot dot. That's what I was expecting when you put a comment like this. Oh, it's right here. Oh, I was looking at the add function. I'm blind. So yeah, okay. Okay, that makes more sense. I'm not going to do the addition and the equality one. I mean, it's just checking if the numerator is equal and the denominator is equal for both. Make, make tables callable. Oh, this sounds awful. There is a meta method called call, which defines the behavior of the object upon being used as a function object. This can be used to create function objects. I mean, that does sound very cool, but also very confusing. So when you call this object function self is equal to self dot I is equal to self dot I plus 1, so it iterates. Are you creating a plus plus? To view the results, to string it, which is just going to print self dot I. The function new counter starts local self. So I is equal to start. Hmm. Having second thoughts about this. Okay, so what I'm thinking is for you to write this right here, this I equals to start inside of the table, you have to know what the structure of the table is going to be and the meta table and the object you're going to use. And it's like if you have information for all three of those things, in what situation would this be more beneficial than just writing a function, a regular function, rather than making a table callable? Because this seems very complicated now. And you have to know I is inside of the meta method. I don't know. It would be cool if you could do like, no, because it doesn't make sense. Because I was gonna say it would be cool if you could like make a your own operator, because Lua doesn't have a plus plus, so you can't plus plus one. But then I realized the variables have the same name as, or the variable identifiers are the same as the table identifiers. It's not like you gain any identifiers by using a table to do this. So it still seems like you should just use a regular function. I mean, there must be a reason why people do this. I just don't understand it. Is my audio messing up? Let me take a listen. Testing, 1, 2. Oh no, yeah, the audio's working. Wow, my mouse click is loud in in that. Create a counter. Local C equals new counter. We'll print C, I, count up. I don't know. I mean, I get that the example is contrived, but if it's this confusing in the contrived example, I'm struggling to find a useful example. The meta method is called with the corresponding object. All remaining arguments are passed to the function after that. Call self dot prepend. Prepend equals printer. I don't. Oh, it's taking multiple arguments. The function that prints self.prepend multiple arguments. Oh, I just don't understand it. I just realized I forgot to put the bottom of OBS on the top of the screen, so I wasn't even keeping track of the time. Indexing of tables. Perhaps the most important use of metatables is the possibility to change the indexing of tables. For this, there are two actions to consider: reading the content and writing the content of the table. Note that both actions are only triggered if the corresponding key is not present in the table. Oh my god, it's another one of these monsters. To change the reading action, we need to set the index meta method. Okay, I need to move on. I'm not retaining any of this information. Raw table access. Sometimes you don't want to trigger meta methods, but really write or read exactly the given key without some clever function wrapped around the access. For this, Lua provides you with with raw table access methods. Yeah, I still don't think I'll be doing anything with metatables. Simulation of OOP. Definitely not this. Definitely not that one. OOP almost killed my entire interest in programming. It's the first language I learned was Visual Basic .NET, and then after that we went to Java, and then C++, and I wanted to never type code again. So I'm avoiding OOP for now. And here it is. Lua itself offers no class system. It is, however, possible to implement classes and objects as tables with just a few tricks. I don't want to do tricks. Function class.new returns set metatable, takes an empty table and index. What? Oh, it's a table with a single meta method called index, and I don't recognize these brackets. I don't think I've seen them. Oh, it's representing the identifier. So this is a one-liner. Here's a basic example. So this is the one. Yes, this is the one I kept seeing. People were turning tables into objects, and I just was so confused. So a class is an empty table. This is going to be a meta method later, I assume. No, it's not. Local instance equals. I already did my Duolingo today. Why is it mad at me? Metatable for instances. Function class.new. Local instance is equal to. My god, this is so confusing. To add a variable or method, just add them to the class. Both can be overridden for every instance. Alrighty, well, I'm starting to lose faith in me understanding the rest of this book. Pattern matching. Oh, thank God something normal. No more iterators, no more meta methods, and no more object-oriented programming. Syntax. String.find, string.match, gmatch, string.gsub. We have to start at the end, I guess. I did the first 40 pages last time ish. That was fine. There was a lot of typos and some grammatical errors, but oh my god, I do not like what was it? Let me go back and see. Yeah, so 6 was okay. Yeah, 1 through 6 was okay. 7, I don't dislike 7. It's just I don't want to. I'm still not sold on going back to C, so I don't think it's gonna be useful to me. It would make more sense to have code that combines everything above. Oh, most certainly. I I think this book is written definitely out of order. In fact, the last two also had stuff out of order, and I feel like they had some of the easier stuff later and some of the harder stuff earlier. And it's just, ugh. But yeah, I didn't like seven. I'm too small brained for iterators. Metatables is like should be the last chapter. I don't want to learn object oriented. So what do we have next? Pattern matching. That's fine. Pico 8. What is this? A fantasy console programmed in embedded Lua? What is this? I might skip this. The reason why is because of love. So I might. Oh, I don't know what you were saying, but yeah, I might do this, learn some of the resources from this, but it won't be immediately after this book, because I went right from book one to book two to book three now. I'm not gonna do a fourth Lua book. I'm gonna switch something else once I finish this one, which I guess is kind of why I'm rushing because I kind of want to just get it over with. But yeah, so probably gonna skip Pico. What is sets? Okay, I'm not gonna skip sets. That looks fine. Tables. Why is tables after meta tables? That's so confusing. Are you serious? They put tables after the iPairs, the iterator section, and meta tables? Variadic arguments? No, I'm not skipping that. Writing and using modules? No, I'm not skipping that. Okay, so the only one I'm skipping next is Pico 8, most likely. Uh, I had a cheat sheet, but I just deleted it today. Throughout some examples, the notation string literal colon function string literal is used, which is equivalent to string dot function. I think this was actually this whole thing. I think this was written earlier in the book, but I also saw it in the first book, so it's fine. I prefer this way because it's consistent with the what is it? This right here. It reminds me of this, which I'm always looking at the reference manual, so I just prefer to write this way. Because all strings have a meta table with the underscore underscore index field set to the string table, whatever that means. Lua pattern matching. Instead of regex, the Lua string library has a special set of characters used in syntax matches. Both can be very similar, but Lua pattern matching is more limited and has different syntax. So is Haskell's. For instance, the character sequence %a matches any letter, while its uppercase version represents all non-letter characters. All character classes. Oh, this is the cheat sheet I was talking about. It was in book one. All character classes, a character sequence that has a pattern can match a set of items are listed below. So %a is for letters, %c is for control characters, oh, escape characters, d is for digits, etc., etc. As mentioned above, any uppercase version of these classes, what is the uppercase of period? Represents the, I guess not existing would be, represents the complement of the classes. For instance, %D will do not digits 0 through 9, will match any non-digit character sequence. So string match F123, %D will return just F, and it ignores all 0 through 9 characters. In addition to character classes, some characters have special functions as patterns. What is this? Oh, these are characters. I thought it was golf. Uh, the character % represents a character's escape, making percent question mark, which is not on the cheat sheet, a match, an interrogation. Is that in? No, actually, it would be this. It's not even in the reference. Oh, a single character class followed by a question mark, which matches 0 or 1 occurrence. Uh, yeah, okay, so there is documentation in the reference manual. It just wasn't. I searched. Oh, you saw it. I searched for percent question mark. The character percent represents. I already read that. You can use the percent character with any other non-alphanumeric character. Therefore, if you need to escape, for instance, a quote, you must use the double slash before it, which escapes any character from a Lua string. A character set represented inside square brackets allows you to create a special character class combining different classes and single characters. Hmm. Foo equals bar 123 bar 1 bar 2341 foo match ARB. I actually don't understand. Let me scroll up for a sec. It's right here. String pattern matches a pattern once. Okay, that explains it. Because I was wondering why ARB returned B but not AR, but it's because match only does one, the first match. You can get the complement of the character set by starting it with a caret symbol. So foo bar 123 bar 2341 string match foo. So not bar. So the first instance of not B and not AR, or I guess it's BAR since it's like that is weird. Oh, they wrote ARB here. That's why. So the first instance of not bar is 1, which is not something I need to remember. This is something that can always be looked up when it's necessary. In this example, string.match will find the first occurrence that isn't B, A, or R. Oh, so it doesn't matter the order? I thought it was looking for BAR specifically. Why didn't you just write ARB again? You would have conveyed that exact message. In fact, I want to try it. I have to stop doing that. Oh my god. Okay, I'm back on Linux for now because I keep typing CLS into the interpreter and it's killing me. Now I'm on my Linux laptop. Uh, Lua, and then ooh, oh, it's in the clipboard. So branch. I think I could just do string dot match. Foo. Okay, so now if I put ARB, it's still 1. And if I put ARB1, I'm expecting 2. And if I put ARB1, 2, 3, it should be 4. Yeah, okay. So any of these characters with the caret are being ignored. So it's ignoring everything until the 4. That's the only one not here. And just for giggles, it returns nil if you type everything. Where was I? I was I started scrolling down thinking I scrolled up already. You can get the complement, I already read that. In this example, patterns can be more useful with the help of repetition slash optional modifiers. Patterns in Lua offer these 4 characters, plus for 1 or more repetitions. Oh yeah? So if I do this, no, that's not. Oh, That's not what I thought it was. Patterns in Lua can offer these four characters. Plus for one or more repetitions, zero or more repetitions for star, also zero or more repetitions for minus, question mark for optional. The character plus represents one or more matched characters in the sequence, and it will always return the longest matched sequence. So what I thought was going to happen, oh, it did work. Yeah, so what I thought was going to happen was this was going to take match from matching only one character to matching one or more characters, so more than one. And since ARB is these, although if I do plus plus is gonna get the second, or do I have to do, I don't know, I have to do star. That didn't work. Hmm. Come to think of it, it didn't grab four either. I don't know. Well, see you later then. Have a good night. I'm probably gonna get off soon too. Thank you for the view and the kind words. Let's see, question mark? Nope. The character plus represents one or more matched characters in the sequence, and it will always return the longest match sequence. Local foo equals this long. Print foo match percent %d plus. Percent %d is digits, and there was no carets, so it wants the numbers. Okay, it was right here. Return the longest match sequence. And so I believe since this is 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 is the sequence before this. No, it still doesn't make sense. I think, okay, I'm thinking 2, 3 is a sequence, and 1, 2, 3 is a sequence, and 1 is a sequence, and 4 is a sequence. Or maybe it's even 4, 1. Maybe. No, actually, no, that doesn't make sense because I'm not looking for numbers. I'm looking for the no, or I'm looking for non-ARB, so this should be the longest sequence. Yeah, I don't understand. Percent %D plus. Let's try it. This should give me 2, 3, 4, 1. Give me 1, 2, 3 again. Hmm. As you can see, asterisk is similar to plus, but it accepts zero occurrences of characters and is commonly used to match optional spaces between different patterns. There must be something I'm missing. One or more characters in the class. These repetition items will always match to the longest possible sequence. Oh, well, at least if I do minus, it'll tell me, give me insight. Nothing. I did not expect that. What about you? Ah, why is empty string a return value for this? Okay. Question mark, maybe? No, I already did question mark. It gave me An empty. So how do I use string match foo with a special class to match to 4? Or 2, 3, 4 rather. It feels like it's gonna keep going for 1, 2, 3. It says string match will find the first occurrence that isn't so. It looks for the. Okay, I guess that's the answer. Is that the reason why it's always doing. No, no, no. That doesn't make sense, no. I don't know. I'll have to ponder it some more. The minus character is also similar to asterisk, but instead of returning the longest match sequence, it returns the shortest one. The question mark modifier matches an optional character, allowing you to match, for example, a negative digit. Okay. Lua pattern matching engine provides a few additional pattern matching items. Percent %n for n between 1 and 9 matches a substring equal to the nth captured string. BXY matches substring between two distinct characters. And this one, percent %f set, matches an empty string to any position such as the next character belongs to a set and the previous character does not belong to set. The find function. Oh, I guess we're done with the match function. Now the only thing I don't understand is what I was expecting was not to go for an empty string from foo. I guess I could print. I don't think it's gonna do anything different. But the minus is supposed to go in front of it. Nope. Okay. The most likely answer is, but that I don't understand why it would do that. But what it seems like it's doing is it's ignoring bar because it has ARB in it. It found a match, and it found another match, and it found a third match, and these matches all together become an multiple occurrences or more repetitions rather. So these all match, and then it gets to bar, and then that's the end of all the multiple occurrences. So it returns 1, 2, 3, and that's the match will. That's when match is over because match itself will only look for the first occurrence. And so what match plus plus is doing is not looking for the longest uh, occurrence in the entire string. It's looking for the first occurrence concatenated, or not concatenated. The word is for contiguous. I'm thinking it's looking for the string that is contiguous, and everything satisfies. Well, I could just test it. Okay, so let's do 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. Okay, so if my theory is correct, and it's only looking for a contiguous block, and it stops after it finds the first contiguous block, it'll return 12 and not 1, 2, 3. And so, string match foo percent %d plus. Okay, yeah, I think I'm on to something. It looks for the first instance. This makes it contiguous. but the way it's worded when it says one or more repetitions uh, that returns the longest match sequence makes it seem like it's going to scan the whole argument and then decide which of these is the longest, which I guess would be pretty memory intensive, and I guess they don't want to do that. So it seems like it's looking for a contiguous chunk of the first contiguous chunk of accurate or not accurate, valid, of valid classes. Is that what it's called? Valid matches. Where was I? The modifier, Lua pattern matching engine. Actually, I started at 40 today, and I'm at 66, so I could just do the last 23 pages next stream. So yeah, I think I will call it a day here. Oh my god, I can't believe I had to skip so much, but I just, I don't understand it. And if I don't even understand it, what is the point? I'm just gonna struggle, not understand, take long. So yeah, I don't anticipate I will ever I don't anticipate ever making custom iterators. I'm not that serious about Lua. I don't think I'll use meta tables very often. It'll be very rare, very rare. I'm gonna avoid this like the plague, the object orientation. And what was the last one? And this one, I'm still not quite sold on. I'm I kind of want to use a Lua API with another language besides C. But then some languages are just implemented in C, so you might as well learn the C implementation of the API. So I don't know. The weak table part was a bit confusing, but at least we did get that one example. Yeah, no, nothing are not the same. Oh, okay. It was 66, I believe. Yeah. So next stream, whenever that is, will be from 66 to as far as I can go that day. Hopefully it's the rest of the book. Credits. Okay, so we don't even need page 88. So it's actually 22 pages. Wow, it's only 2 pages for that last chapter. Okie dokie. Okay. Uh, I kind of cheated before with the what was it? Uh, oh, it was the thing we were on right now. The matching. I, I, they're not on this account. I have multiple users on this computer, and on the other user account, the one with the compiler for Windows installed, I had implemented a very basic version of the program. This one, head and tail, or what is. So these are simple programs that if you have, uh, let's see if I can find something with text. Oh, I'm glad I didn't have my regular name there, else I would have just doxed myself. Cat note. Okay, so here's a note I wrote last week. So it'll say I only want the first 10 characters, or how long is order of? 5, 6, 7, 8. So the first 8 characters of it. So if I do head in 8 and then note, is it N or C? C. Oh, it did a new line in. Okay, yeah. So I hate the fact that it's not giving me a new line. And then tail, same thing, but backwards. And so to do that, I had to look up this class thing and write. Actually, no, I'm thinking of a different program. But yeah, I wrote three programs, but just to experiment. I might redo it next week, or I know, maybe next week. But if there is or next week, maybe next stream, because I might stream Monday. Depends. Or if there is a stream after next, like if I split up the last 20-ish pages, 20 plus pages into two different streams, then I'll definitely do it on the last day. I'll just show the Lua RT compiler and play with it for a little. Yeah. Okay. I really like this ambient occlusion effect. I can kind of show you it. Oh yeah, I'm sideways in the rendering software. So it's over here under effects and ambient occlusion is the section I'm in, and it's at 1.2. So if I put it to like 2.0, oh, it's very scary. Very scary indeed. Then let's make the thickness 1. It changed the white of my eyes to black. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm looking at the stream preview. That's the end of the stream, and I can make this appear. Oh yeah, I had to find some way to make that M in the background so it doesn't do this. Cause that's just, ugh, I hate that. Uh, I know what to do. I just have to, I'll fix it. But in any case, that's enough stalling for now. I don't have anything else to add, so that is the end of the stream. I will see you next time. Man, I'm creepy.